Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to another Pastor's Corner with me, Kosly Joseph. I want to share a brief devotional thought that comes from Matthew chapter 5, verses 13. And let me read it for you. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. Here we understand that the gospel writer Matthew is saying that the church is the salt of the earth. The church, you and me, are called to be the salt of the earth. Now, in order to better understand what it means to be the salt of the earth, let's find out some of the properties of salt. To do this, I went to a website entitled thespruceeats.com. There, they shared 6 purposes for salt, and I'll read some of them for you. First purpose is that a salt is a food preserver. Secondly, it's a texture enhancer. Thirdly, a flavor enhancer. Fourthly, a nutrient source. Fifth, a binder. And finally, a color enhancer. One thing we know for sure is that salt makes a difference in food. Have you ever sat down to eat a delicious meal, maybe your favorite meal, and when you dig in with your fork, you bring the food to your mouth and you find out that there is no salt? Immediately, your next reaction is to look for the salt to add it to your food to season it just right. The gospel writer is asking us to be salt. Let me further illustrate this to you with an experience that happened to me recently. Yesterday, I went for a bike ride after a 2-month hiatus. During the pandemic, earlier in the pandemic, I would go riding in the same neighborhood every day at the same time. In doing this, I began to learn the neighbors who lived in that neighborhood. And every morning as I would go for a ride, I would say, "Good morning, hello, how are you doing?" Then when I took my 2-month hiatus, because I changed my workout routine, yesterday coming back to the same neighborhood, I saw the same neighbors. As I rode past a group of neighbors, they looked at me and they said, "Man, welcome back. We thought something had happened to you." And immediately, that text hit me. As I went riding, saying my good morning and hellos, I began adding something to their days. At least I hope I did. And when I stopped doing that, when I disappeared for a while, they missed me. Now, I'm not here to suggest to you that you need to go on a bike ride and say good morning all the time like I do, but I'm here to challenge you. Like the writer, he says you are the salt of the earth. That means wherever you go, you're supposed to enhance the people's lives around you. The question I have for you today is, if you stop going to your favorite supermarket, your favorite store, your favorite neighborhood, would they miss you? Are you then not making a difference? And if you aren't making a difference, the writer says clearly that if you lose your saltiness, you're no longer good for anything except to be thrown out. But I'm so glad that we serve a risen Savior that can make you salty again. My prayer for you today simply, if you aren't making a difference in people's lives everywhere you go so that they miss you when you're not there, pray and ask the Lord to bring back the saltiness in your life. Be flavorful, make a difference, so that when you leave every area you leave, people miss you when you're not there. This concludes our devotional thought for this morning. Stay tuned, because next week I'll have another devotional thought for you to ponder. If you like what you've heard, or if you agree or disagree, please do so by posting a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you next time.